areas. The north, we expect just some few areas that is also likely to have some rain and thunder from late afternoon into the evening hours. So for the fisher of today, it's a holiday, and most of us would love to go to the beach. The state of the sea is expected to be rough. So as usual, the sea guards will be mounting flags around the places. So if you see a white or a green, that means that that place is safe. If you see yellow or red, that means that the place is not safe for us to swim. So let's keep watch on that. And then also we have some rain that is likely to pop up. So we prepare with some umbrellas and some mini raincoat for protection.
And so just by way of further details, we know the timing of the rain because you say the clouds are moving from Nigeria and it's moving westward.
Yes, for the coastal strip, those in Aflao in the next 2 to 3 hours time from now, it will engulf them. Those in Tema to Accra, also between 2 to 4 hours time, it will also get to us. But then it's weak, and we are anticipating that it may rejuvenate and then produce rain and thunder. So some areas are just likely to have cloudy conditions.
Right then, Felicity. So was safe at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, I believe?
Not really. The chances of occurrence over Kwame Nkrumah is around 40% chance of rain.
40%. We'll take it.
Yes.
We'll take it. But are you joining us though? Are you coming along to the Afro Connect today? 3FM Afro Connect.
Yes, I'm coming. I told Helen that I will come and join her for
fantastic. So we are expecting you on the Jollof War. You lead the chefs for us in cooking.
Yes, I'll come.
Fantastic. Felicity, as always, thank you very much for bringing us the very latest on the weather front. That's Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, your chief weather forecaster for us this morning as well, providing details. The sea is expected to be rough, and so be minded. That's in terms of predictions for us. We're expecting a few showers, hopefully for those of us who will be at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, will be safe from all of the rain. Most certainly, a lot of joy is coming all our way this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise. But most importantly, it's a day, like I keep saying, a day where we remember the one true founder of this country, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And oh boy, what a man he was. What a man he continues to be. Yesterday was the day, but obviously Sunday, and so today we're marking that day as a holiday. But there's a lot of reason why he's regarded one of the best, the greatest African of the century, inspired millions, continues to inspire millions, and he's the reason for this joy. Some make the argument that, hey, had he stayed on just a little longer, our story as a continent and as a nation possibly would have been different. Let me bring in Sixtus Ullo right now as we're marking 22 minutes to the top of the hour. Sixtus, happy holidays to you.
Happy holiday to you. Is it a holiday for you?
For those listening at home, it is. But for those of us here, we don't get to celebrate a lot of holidays.
Celebrate. The fact that you are sitting in the office does not mean that you are not celebrating.
I mean, my idea of a holiday is being home.
Is what?
Is being home.
Home?
Yeah.
Or at the beach?
Yeah, preferably sometimes. Legs crossed, a few
One
drinks.
hand up.
Yeah, a few drinks here and there.
A glass of wine.
That's not bad at all.
Breeze.
The breeze is very important.
Only in a singlet and some shorts.
Fantastic.
And then what else?
A lot more to life. a lot more to life, actually.
No, but those who want or are imagining this kind of atmosphere, they can come to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. We have a lot happening there for them.
I mean, that's where all of Accra is expected to be today. There'll be lots of food that I can guarantee, because once there's jollof war, there'll be all sorts of things to enjoy.
Even if you can't buy food, you get some of the jollof.
You get some of the jollof too. Then there's the fashion shows and all of that, and then
there's a trade mission roundtable discussion. We'll be talking about trade in Africa. We'll be asking we have those conversations here every morning.
Yeah.
We keep asking why we cannot trade with Nigeria, why Cameroon cannot trade with Burkina Faso. Why? So that discussion we will have this morning. We'll ask ourselves all the whys and find out, is there no why not, and see how it can be facilitated. That's the purpose of this roundtable discussion. So
it's not just fun. We'll seek to have serious conversations as well.
Yes, it's not, because the man Nkrumah stood for the unification and independence of Africa, and it wasn't just independence in the sense of political liberation, but also independence in the sense of economic self-reliance per each African country, and also in terms of what you would call integration, the integration of the African people, so that we would have one Africa, one currency, one military. You recall one of the reasons he was ousted was that he was attempting to make himself life president and president of Africa. And so the people who thought it wasn't he wasn't the one to be president of Africa or life president, they decided to, connive with what he called the neo-colonialist, the imperialist, to take him out. And so, understanding the man Kwame Nkrumah, you know that, well, he stood for the integration of Africa, the common marketplace of and for Africa, a common military for Africa, a common governance for Africa, or governance structure for Africa. And so it's a day for us to not just sing and dance, but also for us to reflect on how much we have lost as a continent, not just as a country, and ask ourselves how we can catch up. How we can catch up and ensure that we are back to where our founding fathers intended for us to be.
Yeah, and for me, what I think I love most about him is the vision and the foresight that he had. I mean, you read excerpts of his books and they are almost predictions of what is happening today. What is happening in terms of our economic liberation and the fact that we continue to struggle, because he sounded those alarm bells so loudly that, look, across the parapet, amongst many other things, he could see imperialism and new colonialism on the horizon. Now that we're rapidly gaining independence as a continent, and for a man to be able to sit in the 50s and the 60s and sit down and peer into the years
2025
exactly, and be able to so spot on predict what our predicament can be if we do not heed to his words. I sometimes believe we missed out on a very, very big chance in terms of who he is, what he stood for, and the vision with which, if we had followed, could have made us a completely different set of beings. Talk of his, and that's one thing that I continue to say, his vision and drive to unify us as a people. You understand? There is the argument that he banned political parties. What he did, which I respect most, is he banned political parties across ethnic lines and amongst many other things, seeking to unify the people.
And today we are seeing what that kind of politicking can do to the country. We are seeing that. So, you know, the country started off with all of this Northern People's Party.
Is it National Liberation Movement, the NLM, which was more within the Ashanti
area, led by the chiefs of the kingdom. And so you'd realize that those kinds of groupings and organizations had a certain, and at least from what we are seeing today, tendency to further divide us as a people. As to whether his political opponents agreed with him or not,
they didn't.
It's another conversation that we can have. But if the experiences of today are anything to go by, we will see why that was necessary at the time. If we had, say, Ashanti People's Party today, Ga People's Party today, Northern People's Party today,
I'll be splitting the country along ethnic lines.
You can imagine what will happen. We don't have that today, but imagine how divisive the internal politicking is. In the run-up to the 2024 elections, we heard everything about Dr. Bawumia. He's a Northerner, he's a Muslim, he's this, he's that. So imagine we actually had political organizations along tribes and religions and all of those things. So, I mean, the one thing you can never take away from the man Kwame Nkrumah is his foresight. The history is there for us. What is happening today is there for us all to see. If you reconcile them, then we see that we would never have gone anywhere if we had formed our political movements along those lines. And again, trade is another thing we can go back to, since it's a day we are marking trade. You realize that the coastal areas where all the trade was happening tend to have, or seem to have, had a certain advantage over the rest of the protectorate and the territories. Eventually Ghana, as it became, to the extent that a lot of development was happening within the coastal belt. So from Accra through to the Cape Coast area, you can talk about Axim and Mabo. I mean, the history teaches us that there was a lot of trade activity along these routes. But internally, what was happening? A lot more of trading in human beings, you see. So there was also that consciousness to bridge the gap or link the coast to the south and to the north, to unify or unite these three blocks into one big Ghana that we see today.
Yeah.
And lots of those resulted in education programs, conscious education programs, deliberate programs to ensure that education was not just centered within the coastal area, within the castle schools, as they were called, or within the homes of the chiefs, the big chiefs, where they were now educating their kids, their children, and even their slaves.
Absolutely. And one thing that I got schooled on as to our boarding systems and the likes, that is attributable as well to him.
Yes.
Where that was being used as a means for national cohesion. So people from different ethnic groupings come together and then they bond. And so even in our conversations now as to whether or not boarding facilities are important, I got to learn as to the reasoning behind
it. Yes.
We had boarding facilities, and that's credits to him as well. And talk of the factories that he set up across the country in terms of having us be able to industrialize glass factories, tomato factories, meat factories, you call it what. He was years away from.
When we were struggling with free SHS, in terms of the payments, the financial issues and then the spacing issues, that conversation came up.
Yeah.
Why there was a need for boarding facilities within the senior high system or structure, and it was to explain that the reason we needed that probably did not exist today. And so there was no need to continue to run a boarding system when obviously it is so expensive for us to maintain, even if we wanted to. Now we know that, I'm from the north.
Yeah.
You are from the east.
I'm a proud Achim. Good morning.
Where are the Achims?
Eastern region. I wanted to elaborate further, specifically assume home of Kwabe Brem United.
Hallelujah.
Yes, although
fantastic.
You're not
in the league.
We're not in the league at the moment.
No, but I'm proud that you are proud of Kwabe Brem United.
Yes, very much so. We'll make a comeback. I'm not sure when. We're not in the league, but that's just...
No, this shout out you have given them is the beginning.
Yes,
the first step.
Yes, please.
Hopefully we'll see them in the league.
You know?
Yes, please.
This your hopefully is so demoralizing.
It wasn't from a place of malice.
It's been a long time.
It wasn't from a place of malice. It's actually from a place
actually
of,
hopeful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The hopefully is very hopeful.
I mean, where did I think Hokwa United will be?
Hokwa United. I haven't followed GPL.
They are in the GPL, and a year. I think so far so good. We got a good draw against Hearts of Oak.
Give it up.
Against Hearts of Oak.
Yeah, in the opening fixture, I just have to check where we are currently on the league log.
Okay.
And so a year ago,
the pride with which the two of you are talking about. Me, I can't say same. We had
Ullo Stars.
All Stars.
We had there's actually Ullo FC. We had All Stars that struggled with the problems of the should I say owner or founder, Koisinyan Tachi, which turned into
It changed.
The one that was training at Legon Cities.
Yes.
Legon Cities. They got relegated and then another. They bought another club and named it Legon Cities again. But you were on the Nkrumah tangent.
Yes. I was the point I was driving at is that even in this studio, you see the diversity from the west. No,
from the east.
From the east?
Yeah. The Volta region is to the east of the country.
From Esum,
Still in the east?
From Upper West, Big Brother. Big Brother, where are you from again? Did you say
Doma?
Do you know I served your people? You for pay homage. Hey, so, actually, I served your people for 3 years. So even in this studio, you can see the diversity and building a country at a time. That was the whole idea. Use education not just to bring literacy to the people, but also to integrate the people. What more can we be looking for a man who, even in the 50s, was thinking 50 years ahead?
Yeah.
Today, that system is breaking. We are here talking about A schools and B schools. Admissions are given, and people in the Upper West region are worried because they are not getting to go to Fancy or they are not getting to go to Wesley Girls. And people probably in Cape Coast are also worried because they are not getting to go to St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. So that integration, what happened to it? We fell back on it along the way. We fell back on it. And the benefits are also not, we are not seeing it. If there's anything we need more than ever now with the Gen Z generation, we need that kind of integration again, because we are fast seeing, he's a Northerner. That's all people know. They don't know that the thing Northerner is not even the nomenclature is not even
different tribes.
People
in the
don't know
parts
that.
Of the country.
He's a Fante, or Nzima. Nzima is the other thing that we make a lot of mistakes with. I got to know that within the Nzima area there are a lot of. So let me use the Western region and Western North. There are lots of other ethnic groupings there, but all we probably know is Nzima. If you are from that side, you are an Nzima. Mm-hmm. We don't know any other thing. So there's a lot of integration that is yet to be done, notwithstanding the amount of work that had started off. We have the NCCE that also had this kind of responsibility to integrate and to educate.
They don't have
today. All
money.
We hear from the NCC is that we are broke. It's become the anthem of the NCC.
Broke for a very long time.
So if our education system is failing us, our civic education system is failing us, what do we have left?
How do we measure this lack of integration? I know you said that you hear it in the rhetoric, he's from the north, and also, is it closely tied to our economic situation? Because everybody that I went to school with, that I got to know, was from here. After school, everybody then migrates to Accra. Now we are all Accra ladies. We all in Accra, trading in Accra. So I don't have the opportunity to go and visit you in the Savannah region, to visit you in Bono, to see what's going on, because now we all live
because
in
everything
Accra.
is concentrated in Accra. If I were to go back to Upper West, you wouldn't have met me, and I probably wouldn't be earning what I'm earning today. Do you get it?
Right.
Because for some funny reason, everything is concentrated, even with the offices that are supposed to be decentralized. I just talked about me working in the Den Bono Ahafo region. At the time when we finished our service and we're looking for jobs, any office you went into, they would tell you, go to Accra. Any office you went into, the banks, the agencies, the departments, as for the ministries, they don't even have outlets there. Do you get it? So it's the same political organization or reorganization that has brought us to where we are. What stops us from having Ministry of Agric in the Savannah region or in the OT region? What stops us from having the Ministry of Energy in the Western region? What stops us from having the Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry at Jamestown or in Cape Coast? What stops us from having the Natural Resources Ministry in, say, the Western region? So it's the idea of decentralization that we missed. And Rawlings attempted with the district assembly system to bring us back or introduce this inclusivity, and that is also failing, because even with the district assembly system, everything still comes to Accra. The other day we're having the Galamsey conversations. The DCE seated in Kwame Brim cannot fight Galamsey because he would need political clearance.
That they've been clothed with all of those powers.
Yes, they have been. But when they act, are they sure to have the backing of the center? And we saw in the past where even the center was declaring some people innocent when civil society took up the fight and said, no, this person should be investigated. The center said, no, there's no need for investigation. So that is how badly the centralization has affected us. And the center is further perpetuating that because everything has to come from the center.
Helen, I mean, reflections on the man Kwame Nkrumah. I mean, I believe he's the greatest ever, and he will continue to be. Sometimes I ask myself, what will Nkrumah do in all of the challenges that we continue to face as a country?
Weeping.
No, not him weeping in his grave, but in terms of his approach to dealing with their issues.
So you mean he's weeping in his grave?
Without. I mean, he when he was in exile. I mean, his written speeches and his broadcast to us was very clear that he was a man who was in deep pain as to the fact that what he envisioned was not. But I asked myself, what will he do now? Say the problem of Galamsey, how would he tackle it? How, considering the way he saw things, how would he have approached some of these issues that we have today? Something I ask myself sometimes.
Get there if we were following his industrialization path, because you go into the pits and the rhetoric is, we have nothing to do, there are no jobs, there's no production going on, this is all that we have. But if we were steadily and firmly moving forward with Nkrumah's plan to fully industrialize, to produce, to sustain ourselves, you can imagine that there would be a lot more jobs for the youth. Hence, a lack of desire to go into the pits, and be productive in that sector, and a sector that is continuously degrading the planet, causing us harm. We're drinking poison, eating poison. So I struggle to see that we would even be in that predicament, because a lot of people compare...
The systems and structures would have stopped it. Really and truly, we think about preventative as opposed to a reactive measure, which is what we have now. All of it boils down to the economics, the hope for the future, the hope of the youth. And on a day like this, when we have 3FM Afro Connect and we are looking to immerse ourselves in this Pan-African spirit, we're going to be talking a lot about trade. We've been having a few conversations about AfTA and its, viability, whether or not we're seeing any action on the ground. We're told that, in a couple of years, we could be tapping into something like almost $4 trillion worth of trade, but that action isn't I don't see it, but I know it was Nkrumah's wish that as Africans we would come together really and truly as one people. People woke up, when was it? Sunday morning, and Trump said, all of you on the H1 visa, if you don't return to the US by midnight, Ale Pati.
$100,000.
Yes, or bring $100,000, or the company that sponsors you should bring $100,000 per visa holder. And I felt so sad, because how dehumanizing. If you lived on a continent or you lived in a country where the systems were working, can another leader tell you that, hello, Ale to return by midnight, otherwise don't come here? And that would have been Nkrumah's vision for, for the times that we live in. So it really saddens me. It really, really, really saddens me that as a continent, we haven't been able to really, show our true power. Look at the resources that we have on this continent, the kind of weather that we enjoy. Give Kobroni this kind of all-round good weather, this fertile soil, this good sunshine, abundance of vitamin D. They are there taking vitamin D in the winter months because there's a lack of it. Here we have it in abundance, and we are I don't want to say what I want to say.
Right. It's a 7:minute, and on the message of uniting the African continent, I just want to bring back one of the many speeches of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on the unification of Africa and why it was so important at the time.
Great African Leadership Series, where we feature great.
It is good for our cause to have a periodic meeting of this kind to examine our position in the great struggle to rid Africa completely and forever of imperialism and its handmaidens, colonialism and neocolonialism. Africa is rich and not poor. As the great wealth that has been taken out of our continent over 5 centuries of spoliation and extortion very well proves. Africa has immense actual and potential wealth: gold, diamond, copper, manganese, bauxite, iron ore, uranium, asbestos, chrome, cobalt, a host of other minerals. Our essential agricultural produce have all been drained away by colonialist imperialism.
The best in the morning. It's on 92.7.
Is far from being poor.
3 FM.
It is Africans who are poor, not Africa. And they are poor because of the uncounted profit that has been made out of the exploitation of their labor and their lands. If we are being baited to enter a European community, we must have something that community needs, and needs badly, when it pretends to offer a bonus by way of aid. When Greeks come bearing grapes, should we not look them well in the mouth? If I may mix my metaphor. But I'm sure you get my meaning. I raise this point so that it will stay in your minds when you may be tempted by the seductive promises of new colonialism to forget the real character of colonialist imperialism and be persuaded away from your own true interests and those of Africa. For today, we must each see ourselves as part of Africa in order that we may face colonialist imperialism and its new form, neocolonialism, on a continent-wide front. This requires some plain speaking. And for the sake of Africa, let us speak plainly. As I see it, our greatest danger stems from disunity and the inability to see that the realization of our hopes and aspirations, the realization of our objective of total African independence, and of our future progress and prosperity is inextricably bound up with the necessity to unify our policy and actions in connection with the continued struggle for independence and the greater task of economic and social reconstruction beyond it. We must therefore face the issue of African unity now, for only unity will make the artificial boundaries and regional demarcations imposed by colonialism obsolete and superfluous. African unity will thus provide an effective remedy for border disputes and internecine troubles. In a united Africa, there could be no frontier claims between Ethiopia and Somalia, or between Zanzibar and Kenya, Guinea or Liberia, or between Ghana, Togoland, and the Ivory Coast. Because we would regard ourselves as one great continental family of nations. Some of the leaders, it must be confessed, do not see the struggle of their brother Africans as part of their own struggle. Even if they did, they would not be free to express their solidarity. These rifts are consciously created by the imperialists between Africans, where they can sit back and watch with sly satisfaction, as well as contempt for those who fail to see how they are being used against Africa's best interests. Regrettably, those states include some who were among the freedom fighters of yesterday and who haven't won their independence, are willing to drop it for some token aid, and thereby deny to those still struggling for freedom even their moral support.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.
Here is a phenomenon
Sunrise on
against which all African freedom fighters must be on their guard and resist to the utmost. Even though I appreciate the difficulties facing us, I must admit, I find it strange to watch some of us returning willingly to the colonialist fold. This time, they don't even have the excuse of being forced to subject themselves to foreign domination. It makes one wonder, why so much effort and sacrifice and so many lives were given up to the achievement of independence in the first place, if it can only be so quickly and easily surrendered. We must begin to build immediately our own continental common market. For it is easy for anyone who studies the common market organization closely to realize that the common market is aimed at harnessing the African countries to satisfy the profit lust of the imperialist bloc and to prevent us from following an independent neutralist policy. It is easy to see that the imperialists and the colonialists are determined to retain the African countries in the position of suppliers of cheap raw materials. If we do not resist this threat, and if we throw in our lot with the common market, we shall doom the economy of Africa to a state of perpetual subjection to the economy of Western Europe. This will, of course, hinder the industrialization of our young African states. It is impossible to think of economic development and national independence without possessing an unfettered capacity for maintaining a strong industrial power. The activities of the common market are therefore fraught with dangerous political and economic consequences for the independent African states. The organization constitutes an attempt to replace the old system of colonial exploitation by a new system of collective colonialism, which will be stronger and more dangerous than the old evils we are striving to liquidate from our continent. This is another reason why we should come together in a unified African economic plan, which, operating on a continental scale, can make a solid attack on the imperialist domination in Africa. We should, without delay, aim at the creation of a joint African military command. There is little wisdom in our present separate effort to build up and maintain defense forces, which, in any case,
the best
would be ineffective in a major world conflict.
Sunrise on 3 FM.
If we examine this problem realistically, we would ask, which single African state could protect itself against an imperialist aggressor? And how much more difficult this will be when some states are allowing the imperialists to maintain bases on their territories. I have already referred to the military forces which South Africa is raising and the danger it poses for the new African states and the struggle of those still in chains. Only our unity can provide us with anything like adequate protection. Those problems can best be met within a unified Africa, and it should be possible in the higher reaches of our endeavor to devise a constitutional structure which will secure the objectives I have outlined, and yet preserve the sovereignty of each of the countries joining the Union. Countries within the Union will naturally maintain their own constitutions, continue to use their own national emblems and national anthems and other symbols and paraphernalia of sovereignty. Regional associations and territorial groupings can only be other forms of balkanization unless they are conceived within the framework of a continental union. There are existing models which we can modify or adapt to our pattern. The United States of America, the Soviet Union, India and China have proved the efficacy of unions embracing large stretches of land and population. Long live African freedom fighters.
And that's the man, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in his own words, speaking to African unity and the fact that there's a lot more that needs to be done to ensure that as a continent we continue to benefit from the torch which was lit here in Ghana when we were the first to gain independence from colonial rule. And there's a bit more to him, because in every stratosphere in terms of the country Ghana, it starts with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Football, arts, culture, call it what. He has, or he is the beginning, if we're being honest. And this morning we're going to be hearing a lot more from him. Not to bore us down, but to remind us of the man that he was and the vision with which he carried as well, all throughout his life until his demise, his exile, if we can call it that, following that coup in '66, amongst many other things. There's a lot more to him than we can ever get to hear of. And there are those who ask the question whether or not we celebrate him enough, considering this constant founder apostrophe S before or after.
Oh, that has long been settled.
It's long been settled?
Oh, it's long been settled.
What is the conclusion?
There's a founder of Ghana with assistants.
So is it apostrophe before the S or after the S?
Which one is before or after?
So isn't it for before?
Apostrophe S.
Oh, that has been settled.
Oh. Well, I am an unapologetic Nkrumah, so don't take
same for me. I mean, my that's why I started the morning by saying my bias will be very much reflective in the entire
apostrophe then S.
Yes, it can't be any other way.
I saw a flyer. That's a Happy Founders Day, apostrophe the S, but there are so many people on the flyer. I'm thinking, so check your apostrophe before you go and
before you go.
The argument has never been that Kwame Nkrumah single-handedly, even in his speech on the Declaration of Independence,
he gave credit to a lot of people.
He listed a tall categories of people that he said he could not have done this without.
And not just in the 50s, 40s, getting to 57. He went back into time.
Yes.
Back into time.
So the man
to the
Aborigines
rights protection group. He went all the way through, actually.
Exactly. So it's not, the argument has never been that, he couldn't have single-handedly done this. How can one man found a nation? No, that is not the discussion. We are saying that there is always a figurehead. And this figurehead braced all the odds. Even in the midst of stiff political opposition domestically. When he was campaigning for independence, his own people, when I say people, I mean home people, Ghana people, were busy sending delegations to the Queen to tell the Queen that forget that campaign. We are not ready for it. You guys, you go on, Your Majesty, go on. His own political class did that. People kept saying, no, we can't have this now. And he said, yes, we can have this now. And the campaign more undermined the fight for freedom, political independence, than it aided political independence at the time. So if today we are celebrating the founders, the people who contributed, we of course will celebrate the one man who zealously led the fight, and all the people who supported him. But the attempt to equate, to say that if we are putting Kwame Nkrumah on the number one place, you see, when athletics, when we were in school, we used to run. I'm not sure Helen ever stood on that board. So there will be one,
the podium.
Then there will be two, and there will be three. The rest of you...
Hey, you have to watch yourself.
The shot he's taking.
So it's unconscionable to say when we put Nkrumah on one, we should put all others on one.
So like on the podium, you have an elevated stand.
The one, as for the one, it is too tall. You can't see those.
You say that all of them cannot stand on the number.
No,
it's not impossible because the effort is really not the same.
It's not the same. It does not mean there were not people who did not contribute.
Disagree with you completely.
I mean, but that's the beauty. But that's the beauty of our democracy. We are meant to disagree at every turn. And by disagreeing, we will come to agree on something or compromise on something.
Right.
But this it's not even an ideological argument. It is what we have seen. And unfortunately for us, there's been so many attempts at rewriting history. So much that, see, if you grew up reading people like Professor Edu Buahen, your understanding of the history of Ghana will be very different. Do you get it? From even if you read the foreign writers, there's this one who wrote extensively on Ghana and I think more particularly on the Akan and governance and Rattray, I think. Rattray. If you read all of them, you will see that there is a certain deliberate effort to ensure that that number one position is not occupied by just
one person.
I mean, I don't have a problem if you say that there were others who contributed. I agree, because even the man who fought the fight, he himself admitted that. And there's not a single opportunity he has missed at saying thank you, especially to the young people, the traders and the farmers. He was always particular about that. So, I mean, as far as I am concerned, that debate has long been
settled. We'll get. I'll hear Helen's thoughts shortly as well, but we have to go for a quick.
Said all my thoughts.
A quick spot of commercials. Then, when we return, I'm sure we'll hear a bit more from the man Kwame Nkrumah himself, and then we continue as well to look forward to the 3FM Afro Connect expected a lot later this morning on the 22nd of September. The day we're expecting to see you soon after, but we're back after these spots of commercials.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's what we love. Or your community could win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
The best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3 FM. Sunrise on 3 FM. The best in the morning. The best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3 FM.
You could never be not say your friend when you're the bonnet. Ghana memo you buy and you pay controlling. Centralization treasure Ghana man and person money. Kofi babone, me boko ko Johnny bonnet. The man something what can nature Ghana man say munti mini. Obra for me what for hudi. Kuma modi momu jumedi mun kulmedi. No say. Ngara assassini e ya body de mayen mujana nanan me hwegunya de to homayen domien boayen jeyen adu mene wo so say yen hwe be ye biato aso mu aso kata so omanyi mu de emaso ene e bisa de waye mo magana wo beka so lawyer for doctor for mami misa nurse for ready for driver for mami misa fita for ekwa for tailor for mami misa baba for soldier for teacher for mami misa suku for rap for Ghana rap so for me say me straight o man for onyina monye baako fi say yete fa fa ye wo say we baako Campo moi embu, Crabbe Sante Cotoco, map beba is a moto, Yanfa Cotuloto, Mayimu Frani, yes, Munya to Guasena Humbrasi, Bunny Dinamo Coto, Babu said the way Johnny Wooden, Unkana Swari was so, and Timunya Brebre. Nana Yamino dear, say Campo Money. Kwame and Sam, Osoni Asasiya and Sam, Nanano Musama for and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye.
The best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3 FM.
For and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye. Kwame Nkrumah. Yebo wudin, wudye wuyentin, wudu winyasan eje Ghana to hobe your hin, ewim yedin, profoko mabobri me fisi wuri se wakukuru podo so te semin. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah wudu winyasan te senshoma, Afrika memu nyina ye jutu muse wudu mohoma bapoma, weni ati saberima, weni afriti sabronoma, badum no ada Roma mama Ghana nyafa hudi, yesi amanse nyina musmunye asuna munti, krikete ibini mabu homeso, krikete adeshema mabu homeso, krikete asantini mabu homeso, krikete Tini mabu homeso, krikete ibini mabu homeso, krikete kwa uni mabu homeso. Hausa, kwapem, achim, bono, takumba, cry. Ghana Fujina, Afemi Begusa, Osaji for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Brabe Jensa, Nana Penny Farm Democrat to Hoji Ghana, May Mayan so Yatonsa, Afremoni Ghana, Bush me Biaransa, my force and Mume Jensa, Munina Chechi Japaya Stress and Momo Donsa, Nipaponi can and Koma Ghana, and Nibeguasia, the money Triso, or my Ghana Quasso, or my Penny Quasso, or Bra for me Quasso, Mamre Quasso, Yanko. Mr. Tradian Pon Kwame and Sam, Osoni Asasiya and Sam, Nanano Musama for and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye, Tradian Pon Kwame and Sam, Osoni Asasiya and Sam, Nanano Musama for and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye, Tradian Pon Kwame and Sam, Osoni Asasiya and Sam, Nanano Musama for and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye. Indian Kwame and Sam, Osoni Asasiya and Sam, Nanano Musama for and Sam, Yi Kwame Nkrumah Paye. The last two.
The best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3 FM. On 3 FM, the best in the morning.
I speak to you from the voice of the African Revolution, Radio Guinea, Conakry. It is not insignificant that the voice of the African Revolution should be the medium through which I speak to you. The instigated rebellion by certain army and police officers in Ghana was directed not only against Ghana, but also against the African Revolution and the unity and independence of our continent. They hoped, through such irresponsible actions, to strangle Ghana and undermine the African Revolution. For years, I have been talking and speaking, writing and teaching all about imperialism, colonialism, and neocolonialism in order to create an awareness of their workings and machinations. Only a sell-out willing tool, a quisling and a lackey, a stooge and a traitor could fall victim to the wiles of imperialism, colonialism, and neocolonialism. The pity is that there are still Ghanaians and Africans who are prepared to sell themselves to aid and abet these systems. These agents and stooges chose to attack the African Revolution by attacking me. They know that the name of Ghana is one of the symbols of African achievements. It was so in medieval Africa, and it is so today. The reawakened African giant is the master organ for African progress, national consciousness, and African unity. It is the symbol of the courageous struggle of the African people for national independence and continental unity. From pre-independent days to the day we fought and won our independence from colonial rule, the symbolic date being 6 March 1957, Ghana has thrown herself freely and boldly into the struggle for African emancipation. We have proclaimed our firm stand against imperialism, colonialism, and neocolonialism. We have unflinchingly stated that the independence of Ghana was meaningless unless it was linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. We made it clear to our brother African states, which followed us in the wake of African freedom and independence, that unless Africa was politically united, our continent would never be really free from foreign interferences and domination. We also warned that imperialism and neocolonialism would turn some of us into stooges and traitors in order to undermine and subvert not only the African Revolution, but the very existence of independent African states. This has become our cardinal foreign policy, and this is what we have been shouting from rooftops all over the African continent. The African freedom fighters joined us in the struggle, and we welcome them as worthy sons and daughters of Africa who shared our hopes for a united revolutionary Africa. Thanks to the efforts of the African freedom fighters and revolutionaries, today there are no fewer than 36 independent African states united under the banner of the Organization of African Unity. The Organization of African Unity presents a common front in the struggle to free and unite Africa and claim for her the international recognition, dignity, and respect which is Africa's due. Ghana and the Convention People's Party have never been forgiven by their enemies for their firm stand and the part they play in the African revolutionary struggle for emancipation and unity. Since independence, they have tried various stratagems to overthrow Ghana and make her subservient to their whims and caprices. Our firm policy of positive neutralism and non-alignment thwarts their plans and balks their policy of undermining us. In public education, public health, and social development, Ghana today is an example of success. Thanks to the workers, farmers, and peasants of Ghana, the standard of living in Ghana today is one of the highest in Africa. What we have achieved belongs to the people and not to a clique of self-seeking people or class. The people themselves know this. This unwarranted rebellion threatens to destroy all that the Ghanaian people hold dear to heart. This senseless rebellion threatens the achievement we have sweated for the past 15 restless years. By this rebellion, they have tried to set back what we have achieved. They have attacked Ghana and the African Revolution, but they cannot succeed. We will not allow them to succeed. These stooges and sycophants of neo-colonialism may temporarily set back Ghana's progress, impede the African political movement for a time. They may destroy some of our work of patience, diligence, and sacrifice. But we will rebel when they destroy. Our socialist gains and achievements can never be destroyed. It is only unfortunate that for Ghana, the various projects and factories which were started by my government have all been abandoned by this so-called National Liberation Council. The 7-year development plan has also been abandoned by this treacherous clique, whose members are too ignorant to realize that a planted seed takes time to germinate.
And that's Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in one of his broadcasts from Guinea, Conakry, following that coup and his subsequent exile from the country. Speaking with a lot of pain, but let's get onto the phone lines right now. Dr. Samuel Ifri is a political analyst, is joining us this morning as well as we continue in our conversations about the man, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who he was, what he stood for, and the vision that made him the most celebrated African in the century. Doc, I appreciate you joining us this morning. Happy holidays to you.
Yes, good morning, Mawuena. I hope you're doing well.
By God's grace, we're well, and I trust that the day is being kind to you as well.
Yes, as trying to get in touch with you.
Doc, today has been set aside, rightfully so, to celebrate the man, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, what he stood for, amongst many other things. I want to pick your thoughts starting off as to what you make of him as we celebrate today.
Well, thank you, and I greet your cherished listeners and those who are watching on Facebook and other networks. You know, Mawuena, it's quite unfortunate that Kwame Nkrumah is only noted for independence, noted for one of few things, maybe about Kosombo when you read the books, when you go to schools, what we learned about Kwame Nkrumah is not enough. These are one or two things that you might know about Kwame Nkrumah, and it's quite unfortunate that we are not making known Kwame Nkrumah to our young ones, and I feel very bad in that perspective, which means that we are not honoring those who live for this country with a good sense of vision, a good sense of national development, a good sense of purposefulness for our country. And that is what is happening now. And even though we describe, when you travel outside, you know, Mawuena, you can see or feel what Kwame Nkrumah is valued outside. How, when they hear the name, so which means that Kwame Nkrumah has been projected in those countries in terms of how they've tried to know Kwame Nkrumah, whatever capacity that they want to know. So it's quite unfortunate that we ourselves, because of our political differences and certain kind of ideologies that we profess, so it makes us not to project Kwame Nkrumah enough. Kwame Nkrumah is a leader who founded, should we say, Ghana. He's one of those visionary leaders who revolutionized our independence approach, meaning that he came out with that kind of force to seek for independence for our country. And when he came to become a leader of this country, we can see how vigorously this man pursued national development based on, you can talk about the Industrial Revolution. And all some of these industrial revolution, or let's say industrial companies or companies that he set up, even currently, we are even trying to set that agenda again. We have failed as Ghanaians. That even the time that Kwame Nkrumah became a leader, he taught it, the visionary leader, to come out with what? An industrial change for this country. And now, most of the governments that have come to power, we talk about 1DF, 1F, 1DF, others are also coming up, industrial parks, we have failed this country. And that is what Kwame Nkrumah stands for. We can talk about energy. We'll talk about energy projects. Look at what Kwame Nkrumah, even if it's nothing, Akosombo has stood the test of time. And our leaders who came after him failed to expand these energy projects that Kwame Nkrumah set up to accommodate the increasing population of our country. Kwame Nkrumah was a great man. Kwame Nkrumah, in terms of our energy, of coming up with Akosombo, was able to stand the test of what Industrial Revolution and our development. So we cannot discount Kwame Nkrumah in our history and how we have honored him so far. Even though we have named his name, we have named him after certain institutions and roads and here and there, I think that we are not translating this to our Jay-Zs and also to our young ones who project to see Kwame Nkrumah as only a political leader in terms of giving us our independence. But it's not only independence. Kwame Nkrumah went further, more into certain areas in our development as Ghanaians. And that is what I believe we need to. And if we talk about education,
right?
Kwame Nkrumah was the bedrock of our educational system. Look at the model schools that this man set up. Look at secondary schools. Look at universities. Kwame Nkrumah University, that we can even talk about. Just one example. When you come and look at the vast land that this man, during his time as a leader, was able to project, and still we have spaces, lands available at KUST. That is a vision. When you go there and you see and you ask yourself, say, no, this is a great man. You talk about health, Kwalibu and Pomfanochi Teaching Hospital. This man set up a visionary leader. So, Mawuena, it's quite unfortunate that we are not celebrating Kwame Nkrumah enough, and we celebrate him during one or two when a new government comes to power. You change the name this here and there. I think we all need to come together and even have a way of. You see, when you travel, when I've stayed in China for a while, you see, when you talk about one of their leaders, even the one that is in power now, I've forgotten the name.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping, yes. They see him as God, where they learn. People learn about him. People school to learn about him. They have a system that the government has made sure that is a national policy to ensure that his vision, his ideas, his kind of personality, we try to inculcate them into the generations that are coming. If you don't have that, that is how I'm sorry that we have not been able to do that. So our generations have failed, our leaders have failed all of us, because when we come, we meet only the specific needs of Ghanaians, and we have stopped the visionary approach of Kwame Nkrumah into our
Doc, and that's where I'll come in terms of the conversation. Yes, we have a day set aside to celebrate him. Even that, from the argument you make, and it's something I subscribe to as well, we've not done enough to celebrate him. But in terms of readings about him, our education system as we have it now, there's very little mention of him, what he's done, his development plans and the likes. Why are we not incorporating all of this? Or what's the inhibition? Because yes, we understand we went through what he himself described as dark days. Some of his materials were burnt and destroyed, but they are not completely gone. They are those who still have such rich materials from him, and yet it's not being taught in our schools. We're not having conversations about him in our schools, and it looks like there's a disconnect somewhat.
Yes, you see, when the I think Kirk that was shot about some few weeks ago, you see, it was doing something that if we tend to also go into that approach, it will help us as a nation. You see, he was Kirk, that is the guy that is in US that was shot. He was projecting Jesus Christ. He was projecting certain ideologies into the tertiary level, going to schools and having a kind of a system. You know, if we are able to do that, we can make Kwame Nkrumah relevant in our current, that is Ghana, as we find ourselves. Let's make Kwame Nkrumah attractive to our generation. Let's make Kwame Nkrumah more, should I use the word, modernized in this dispensation. Let Kwame Nkrumah appeal to these Gen Zs that we find ourselves, that is, they find themselves now. And that is what matters for all of us. So that, you see, we want to go to other countries, Asia and those, we have these Chamama, we have all these people there. You see, they learn the ideas, they inculcate them in the education system. It's quite unfortunate that we only have a few information. And you see, it's not about the secondary schools or the JHS that they learn. You have to go down to those that are picking up, the young ones, the babies. Once they start to speak, primary level, we should start and build up. Primary level, what level of information do we learn about Kwame Nkrumah? When it comes to secondary level, what information do we learn about Kwame Nkrumah? So we see there is a build-up to even some level that at least every generation or every student that comes out will have a certain kind of knowledge about Kwame Nkrumah. And because if you don't go to the university to learn about history or to learn about certain programs, you will not feel Kwame Nkrumah history. You will not learn about Kwame Nkrumah history. And that is what is missing in our inability to make Kwame Nkrumah ideology, or let's say the philosophies and the ideals of Kwame Nkrumah to be known for. I'm concerned about the generation. Because as the generation goes by, if they lack this knowledge, if they lack this information, then it means that Kwame Nkrumah is gradually dying out in our country. And will be only be mentioned on Independence Day. And that is the concern. So our leaders need to have a consensuous effort, a well-designed plan to ensure that all of us say that Kwame Nkrumah is a great leader. He's a great Pan-Africanist. He is known over the world. And me, from the marketing perspective, I believe that we could even develop, or we can even come up a good brand of Kwame Nkrumah for this country, so that it can be more beneficial to us. We have not even used his name very well. We have not branded his name, that even coming up with products, coming up with certain things that will make Kwame Nkrumah more marketable in the economically. We could have just at least gained a lot of benefit from even only his name. Even we can even sell his name. If you want to use his name in whatever capacity, you have to have that right from Ghana. Ghana will charge you some money before you use the name. His name has not been registered, even the global or whatever world patent right or whatever, so anybody can use the name anyhow. No. Ghana should own Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana should benefit from Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana should market Kwame Nkrumah in a way that we can even develop a lot of. And if we don't have that plan, I'm sorry that we are making Kwame Nkrumah to die naturally. And I believe that in the next 5 or let's say 10 years to come, I don't think that Kwame Nkrumah will be known as in terms of critical development in our country, but only be known as an independent Guinea for this country.
And even on the subject matter of critical development, he had a plan, that 7-year development plan, amongst many other things. Have we been able to realize his dream, the dream he had for the country, the dream he had for Ghana? Can we sit here today, having this conversation today on the 22nd, that dream, we've achieved half of it even?
Mawuena, I'm sorry to say that we have not achieved anything. We have not achieved anything. If you compare, you see, that makes Kwame Nkrumah so unique, because if you look back and you look at his ideas, you look at his vision, then you describe him as a great man. You describe him as one of the great leaders that we need to hold it tight. But, he was having a plan that, these are our key areas as a country. We fall short. We need to grow. We need to develop ourselves. We need to develop our human resource. We need to build our health sector. So he has a long-term plan for this country. But currently, our leaders of late, not excluding any political party or whatever, our development are short-term. At most 8 years. 4 years. 4 years. We go here. Now, even look at our education system. It's like hop here, go in here, we change it to 4 years, we change it to 3 years, we change it to this year. We are not serious as a country. If we want to grow about certain pillars of our economy, that we just use politics as a way to juggle them, that for us not to achieve the long-term effect for this country. And that is what these leaders have been trying to do for this country. We don't have a plan. Mawuena, just ask ourselves, what is ahead of us in the next 15 years or 20 years? Do we have a national plan? We have national commission planning or whatever. At the end of the day, what do they have for us? Is it accessible for all of us? Do they even let us know that as a country, these are our key areas? Every government or party comes to power, they have their own vision. When you ask them, say that I put these promises to Ghanaians and they voted for me, so I'm supposed to implement or ensure that those promises are adhered to. By just sidelining most of these agenda or national agenda for all of us. And that is a problem. Our leaders of late are short-sighted, and that negates Kwame Nkrumah's vision for this country. And that is why we have been leapfrogging, not like just hopping in a way that I seem like kangaroo, and we are not making any headway in our national development. Well, that is our major problem. Our leaders are short-sighted. Not short-sighted. They want just to please their voters. They just want to please Ghanaians. Like short-term things. Most of our problems, when you go to Asia, you realize that most of their leaders, Malaysia, they have leaders that were able to have vision, and now their economy, their country is changing. But for our part of the world, some selfish leaders who are greedy, where we have leaders with them, and they are all making sure that within the shortest time, they become good. When we listen to Kwame Nkrumah, you see, people amongst ourselves, we are not even ready. We are not even ready. The spirit that Kwame Nkrumah was facing, the way that Kwame Nkrumah was trying to not to ensure that we get our independence on those things. We also have those people also in the system that if you want to have a long-term agenda, if you want to have a long-term vision to satisfy the means that is the Ghanaians in a way to stop certain national issues, certain national problems, could have been solved within the shortest possible time if we have a concerted effort of ensuring that these developments are well coordinated and planned for even when there's a change in government, you're still going to continue. That is where we find ourselves. It's unfortunate that Ghana has become a playground for leaders to juggle ourselves without any national plan that will change our face of our development. All we know is that I'm in power 4 years. You can't satisfy Ghanaians with these petty issues, and then How is it that now we are not able to solve our energy problems? We sat down till this time. You come in terms of road infrastructure, we have issues. Then the government of the day will come up with a big push. Assuming that the government is changed within the big push will be somewhere. Another will come say large push. You see, these are the things that we find ourselves. Government of the day coming up with issues to solve their own problems. So, Mawuena, that is our situation.
Right.
It's very bad.
And I hear you loud and clear when you say that we run a risk of reducing him to the mere status of the man who fought for the independence of the country, and we lose sight of his developmental acumen, the mind with which he was able to plan and project how we should develop as a country. I know this question will be asked a lot of times today on different platforms, but I want to make it a bit more personal in terms of how, as individuals, persons listening to us at home, we can continue to carry the flame lit some 60 plus years ago when, I think it's 70 plus years ago when he touched down on the shores of the country upon the invitation of the UGCC and began the work which culminated into our independence and then into the development, some of which were testament to this very day. How do we carry that torch by ourselves and imbibe it to others, to our children and to the next generation, so that we, even if the present leaders are not doing what is expected of them, we're holding that flame such that we can pass it on to the next person, so the next person who comes in terms of leadership is doing a good enough job for us?
Those people that are supposed to lead us, let's say, assuming that it's our parents or whatever, the question is how knowledgeable or what information do they have about Kwame Nkrumah? If they don't have, they won't share, So I think I will commend the previous government of having the Kwame Nkrumah the mausoleum in Accra, right? Refurbish it for and attracting a lot of visitors. I think that is the best way we can also add up to the visionary. And that one, we need to, I think that place should also encourage, do promotions to attract visitors. What we lack in our country is making our institutions marketable. We don't market them. We don't use to attract people. You have all these facilities that this mausoleum have, but we don't have people that within domestic tourism. We don't encourage even ourselves to come in and to even educate ourselves in some of these about Kwame Nkrumah. They don't come on the social media to educate us. As a mausoleum, as a chief executive of that place, you come out previously, because now we have a lot of people on social media, you come along with certain kind of flyer, certain kind of information about Kwame Nkrumah. And even you can even come up with a contest about the ideas of Kwame Nkrumah in our secondary schools. If when you start some of these things, then you are making Kwame Nkrumah relevant for our generation. There should be a competition named after Kwame Nkrumah about the ideas of Kwame Nkrumah. School would debate on the divisions or the development plan of Kwame Nkrumah in the levels that will catch at each educational level. And in that case, you are sending a good signal to these young ones. If not, because these young ones will become adults, if they lack information, if they lack knowledge about Kwame Nkrumah, then what would they transfer to their children or the other generations that will come? That is what we have failed as a country. And we don't have to sit down for these things to happen. It's unfortunate that all Nkrumahs have even turned out not to propagate Kwame Nkrumah. There should be a national approach. You see, if I say that it's about one person, it will be very difficult. We should see Kwame Nkrumah as a national asset that we can benefit from any source. As I said, economically we can benefit, and we can use Kwame Nkrumah as a way, a model, and then try to learn a lot of things from. If the adults or those who are old don't have any information, that will be a problem. So there should be a concerted effort from the side of government or maybe a center for Kwame Nkrumah that will come up with these things. Government will support them with the budget. They should brand Kwame Nkrumah well. They should have a system where Kwame Nkrumah information, knowledge or his achievement will be known. And I think when we do that, it will help all of us. Even the political level, we can have a national debate. Even among these parties that can even, big companies will come and sponsor these things so that people will hear the side of Kwame Nkrumah and other sides of political divide. So when you bring all these together, then you see that Kwame Nkrumah will stand tall when some of these debates are being professed to our young ones. And that is what I believe it can help. So if we lack information, because for now, we are here. If you don't go and research as an academician or as a historian or a political analyst or whatever, you don't go and research, the information will not be available in an easy way, in a convenience way. And you know that these current generations don't spend time in research. What they want is that you have to push the information to them. They are mostly on social media, and that is where you can push a lot of information to them to make Kwame Nkrumah more attractive in this direction. If not, Mawuena, we can't go far, and Kwame Nkrumah would die a second death, if I'm supposed to say that, and that would be a disaster for this country.
We pray he doesn't die that second death. But Doc, I appreciate your thoughts that you've been sharing with us this morning, and I continue to enjoy the holidays, and let's continue to keep that flame burning.
Thank you very much, Mawuena. Have a good day.
That's Dr. Samuel Afriyie speaking to us this morning on the man Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He fears, quite honestly, that if enough is not done in the interim and as quickly as possible to uphold his legacy and moving beyond the status for a lot of the young people as the man who fought for the independence of Ghana, and as well trumpets a bit more in terms of what his development ideals are, then unfortunately we could be seeing a second death of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And there's a specific account that has been doing a very fantastic job on Twitter in espousing the ideals. It's one of the children of the current vice president. He has been posting greatly in great detail as well about the many development plans of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and what he stood for, amongst many other things. I've been taking time even before today reading a number of them and trying to get an understanding of some of the things he stood for. Kwaku Opoku Agyeman, Dr. Kwaku Opoku Agyeman is the son of the vice president of the Republic, and he has been writing very extensively on the developmental plans of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and has been sharing excerpts of his books and others, touching on the various aspects of what Nkrumah stood for. So when it comes to health, what work he's been doing, when it comes to agriculture, industrialization, amongst many other things, he's been speaking to it. And so if you want to read a bit more in terms of Nkrumah, that's one particular page I'll recommend for you this morning. Dr. Kwaku Opoku Agyeman is the son of the current vice president of the Republic. Go on to his X page. I like to call it Twitter. I still haven't pretty much wrapped up my head around calling it X, but he's written extensively. Every now and then he's sharing something about Osajifo that we can learn of, even in football, in health, you call it what. He's been doing that greatly, and it's one thing that I have been reading and learning a lot from. I'll be very honest with you. And so if you want to as well learn, Helen, I don't know if you've been following that page in particular.
I do
Dr. Kwaku Opoku Agyeman. He writes greatly, actually, on Kwame Nkrumah and his plans, the infrastructure development plan for Ghana by 1970 under Kwame Nkrumah's administration. and he explains what the vision is, how it was intended to have followed through amongst many other things. I mean, it's great stuff, great stuff. And on a day like this, hats out to him for a lot of what he does in terms of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But I don't know where you stand in terms of the argument as put forth by Dr. Samuel Efree that increasingly, because we're not celebrating him enough, we stand the risk of leaving him limited, if I can call it that. And he's described it as a second death, where in a few years to come, when we mention Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, it will just be that, he gained independence for us. And the other aspect of what it is that he's done could be lost. I want to believe that will not be the case, because some of the infrastructural things he put together, like the Akosombo Dam, for instance, the Temamuto Way, they are still living testament of his vision.
That's right.
But that is an argument that some say holds a bit of water as well.
I'm kind of 50-50 about that position, because there are still many people who have so much passion for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and the legacy that he's left. So sometimes it does feel as though that's not something that's going to be diluted. Although it also feels as though he's celebrated more outside of the country. Sometimes it feels that way, that other African countries are more grateful for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah than we are as a people. But I think Prof talked about a second death, and I don't really see that materializing. But we do have to do more so that his legacy is greatly felt by younger generations as well, and generations to come. I think that's really the fear. So far, I don't think we're doing too badly, but for those that are to come after us and after us and after us, how do we ensure that we sustain his legacy as much as possible? Like I said, remember going to Namibia and saw a statue of Kwame Nkrumah, saw some write-ups, and and I was thinking, in this German-influenced town, Kwame Nkrumah from Hobei, they know Kwame Nkrumah. I said, you know Kwame Nkrumah? Yeah, we know Kwame Nkrumah.
And you got some free jollof because of that?
No, they don't eat jollof there, sadly.
Okay.
Those guys, they like sweets. They get some sweets, carrots. Those of us from West Africa, we were wishing we had bought our own meko. The food was too sweet for us. But we got down from the bus, took so many pictures, and I remember the few Ghanaians who were on the bus were like, hey, these guys are celebrating Kwame Nkrumah like nobody's business, so in awe.
And sometimes it will make you feel a bit ashamed, eh?
No, of course.
That you don't do in that manner.
Very, very passionate about Kwame Nkrumah.
But you know how Guinea celebrates Kwame Nkrumah?
Yeah. They made him
had a way. Yeah, they would have taken Nkrumah away from you. You see, but the good book says a prophet is not celebrated or respected or wanted in his own home.
Yeah. But he's for all of us. He's for all of Africa. So
he's for all of Africa, but he is ours first. I mean,
how are you showing that you own him?
Which is that
the story is actually yours. It's like the Jollof story you keep telling, that it's actually for the Senegalese,
the Senegambians from the Wolof tribe.
But you people, you have now come to take the thing away from them. When you are talking Jollof, they don't even count anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing we see with Kwame Nkrumah. You see that, yes, he's Ghanaian. Ghana is proud of him. But, I mean, the other African countries, they claim him and they wish they could actually, relocate the history, transport the history from Ghana to their countries and make Nkrumah their own. We saw what happened when he was ousted. Guinea made him co-president. There was a president of the republic. Yeah. But they said, no, you are too good to be thrown away like that. Come and be president with me. When he passed on, Guinea was reluctant. It had to take a lot of back and forth before the body was brought in.
Yeah.
You get it?
Because they would have thought, well, you didn't want him.
You didn't want him. So it's sad, but do we, and Helen is right, after this generation, the coming generation, what would they know about Kwame Nkrumah? Is that the story that actually happened, or the story that is being rewritten? That's the question that. But again, Mawuena, you see, I was listening to some of the voices and also listening to Doc, and I also realized that Ghana has lost its position. It's not just its hold on Kwame Nkrumah, but its position in Africa. You see, from the very beginning, it's always been that we are the center of it all. I mean, there is no significant name in the fight for African emancipation that did not come to Ghana. All of them had to come to Ghana to come. Some would say seek the blessings of Kwame Nkrumah. Some would come to show that they were here. Some. And the last time I listened to Prof. Lumumba, PLO Lumumba, it was one of the things he mentioned with pride. And again, this is a Kenyan. He is not Ghanaian, but he is one of the people who celebrates Kwame Nkrumah more than we do. And he mentioned this, that there was not a single political freedom fighter in Africa who did not come to Ghana for blessings.
You have to come and tap into
it. This was the political mecca.
You say we're no longer the epicenter of.
No, but on a more serious note,
of that whatever we call it.
Like this country, we are actually very blessed.
We are,
and yet we have very surprisingly failed to take advantage of it in all of the circumstances. We're at the center of the world, actually.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes,
Ghana is at the center of the world.
Yes.
But
I hear that center, that particular center, I hear is bushy.
Very bushy.
I'm sorry.
That's just what it is.
That was a metaphor.
we have had the greatest ever African come from here. We've had pretty much the world come to a standstill because of him. When you make reference to the fact that everybody wanted to associate with this country, and yet for some very strange reason, we found a way to flank it.
Loans to other countries.
Yep.
We found a way to
also facilitate their independence.
Yes.
What country was that?
We supported Guinea.
Because their colonial master says if you push for independence, we'll withdraw our finances.
That's why they don't joke
and
with.
We stepped in to say that no, we'd rather give you some of our money before that ever happens. Today
we don't even want to trade with our African brothers and sisters. Not about even giving aid. We don't want to. So Ghana seems to be losing a lot. And you see, it is also within that context that when the Foreign Affairs Minister speaks about the
West African
nationals, when he says Ghana, this is who we are, this is what we have always been.
Right.
That the government on humanitarian grounds simply had to, because this is who we are. You see, it traces way back to some of these things, that we have a history that says that we are the big brother in the room, and we are always looking out for the good of the other brothers. We take the lead.
Sixtus, are you sure about this example that you are using? Yes, it is in the right spirit, but you go to the right quarters, and then we'll come and imbibe the spirit.
I am speaking about the spirit.
Yes.
Don't take me there.
Okay. I just wanted to quickly slide tackle, because whilst we agree that it's in the right spirit, and we, on a day like this, AfroConnect, we're all about the Pan-African spirit.
Yes.
Pan-African spirit, kakra, due process, kakra. Yes. Now you're fair.
The due process would have come about if it were an agreement. But the ministry has told you it's not an agreement. The ministry has insisted actually that it's not an agreement.
That's right.
If it's an agreement, you have to go to Parliament to ratify it. But the ministry says it is not an agreement.
Okay.
This was out of brotherly. Our brothers
it's just
are being
a memorandum
deported.
of understanding.
Sure.
Our brothers are being deported. We can't watch on and let them go homeless. So we take them, give them some shelter.
For example, what would Kwame Nkrumah do in this position?
And don't forget, the Foreign Affairs Minister is also a diehard Nkrumah.
Absolutely.
So I am not surprised.
With plenty.
Nkrumah never dies.
He will never die.
Nkrumah never dies.
Try as you may, there will always be.
Again, the same spirit. When the former finance minister said, "We are a proud nation," I told you I agreed with him on that statement. Yes, we're a proud nation. But somewhere along the line, the pride gave way.
I beg you. I beg you. Let's go for another spot of commercials, and then we return and hear from the man Kwame Nkrumah. It's a day set aside to celebrate him, even though we're connecting, and that's one of the many ideals he stood for: the unification of the entirety of Africa. But you're here on the holiday edition, or the Kwame Nkrumah Day edition of the 3FM Sunrise. We're back after this break.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone.
Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you, or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number, or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to the
It's a 3FM Afro Connect. You heard right, 3FM Afro Connect is happening today at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. It's a grand celebration of African unity, culture, and creativity. And this September, we're expecting the African continent to unite, celebrate the beauty and cultural diversity of the continent right here at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park today, the 22nd of September, offering more excitement than you can imagine. So 54 African countries, we're bringing all of them together today from the north, west, central, east, and south. The entire continent is at one place. And we're experiencing the rhythms, the art, the fashion, the food, and the unforgettable spirit of unity, which we've been preaching to you this morning. Kind Ketsi, the greatest African ever, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And guess what? Remember that expert panel conversations Sixtus mentioned? That's happening today as well. How well can we trade? Boost trade on the African continent. There's after and all. But we continue to make the argument that we haven't seen it roll out in the ways expected. We'll have another conversation today. How do we do that? As the cultural performance from every region, the art exhibition, and the legendary Jollof Wars all come off at one place. Which country is taking the Jollof supremacy from Ghana this year? Or we're going to retain it? I mean, we make the best Jollof on the African continent, so hey.
The last.
We will get into the night as well. We're extending the experience for the night owls. And then the Osajifo concert headlined by the super amazing Trigmatic with performances from exciting talent from across the continent. There will certainly be thrills of the night at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. So I've given you all the gist, the excitement, how it's expected to go, the lowdown. It will all cost you just 100 cedis. Just 100 cedis. 100 cedis to experience the fun, the thrills, the excitement. So purchase your tickets by dialing star 725 star 2226 hash, star 725 star 2226 hash. But if you're a vendor, you're seeking to have a small shed put up for you so you can sell, because there'll be lots of people actually coming in today. Call us on these numbers: 053-110-0927, 053-110-0927, or 053-220-097 right now, and get a stand for yourself. Trust me, you're gonna cash out big time. And the stands are limited, and that's if you're going to be getting a stand as at this time today. It's a 3FM AfriConnect, uniting global Africans, and it's powered by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio, and sponsored by EcoBank with Gino Tomato Mix and Games on Wheels with support from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. Let's take you right now into the speeches of the greatest African ever, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, again as to what it is that he's been preaching and what more we can learn from him today.
Mr. Chairman, it is vital to emphasize this problem of disarmament, and I suggest that this conference should call upon the powers of the world to disarm. They must disarm in order to ensure that they are unable to strike against each other. And Mr. Chairman, from this conference, let us give them a positive maxim. If you want peace, stop preparing for war. Why peace, peace, and yet there is no peace? Only last night, the Soviet Union exploded a nuclear device. This is a shock to me, as it must have been to you all. But it is a shock which possibly brings home to us the supreme danger facing mankind, the imperative necessity for peace, and the urgent need to sign a treaty for complete and general disarmament.
This today is far the most dangerous situation that has arisen in the last 15 years or so since the last war ended. Now we all thought it has become a commonplace for people in every country to refer to the
since the murder of the Prime Minister of the Congo, Patrice Lumumba. History and we support the Kazenga government because it was chosen by this means and was the government that invited the United Nations to the Congo. The duty of the United Nations is not to force on the Congo this or that government, because the other states of the world think that any particular government should be a suitable one for the Congo. This is tribalism. I therefore do not understand the emphasis which a number of powers lay on recognizing this or that government. Ultimately, it must be the Congolese people who choose their government and not the United Nations. What the United Nations must do is to see that the Congolese people have the opportunity to choose the government which they want. The present situation. My proposal is therefore that there should be, as soon as the United Nations have established law and order, a new general election conducted under United Nations supervision and under conditions where every political party can freely canvass for its policy without fear, without force, and without intimidation. Before, therefore, accepting a decision of the present Congolese parliament as an expression of the will of the nation, the United Nations must first satisfy itself that parliament is not meeting under duress and that the balance of political forces has not been changed by organized murder. Mr. President and distinguished delegates, what we need in the Congo is not a solution that is a compromise or seeks to reconcile the divergent views between East and West. What we want is a solution acceptable to the Congolese people and which ensures peace and stability in Africa and thus excludes the Cold War from the continent. As I have said many times before, we in Africa have a vested interest in peace. What is taking place in the Congo today could lead to a serious conflagration which would set us all ablaze and spare no one. Unless this unhappy and ominous trend is arrested at once, a major war will descend upon us again. If the proposals I am making succeed, we will be ensuring that the world is not only safe for ourselves in Africa, but also for the big powers. I believe that the plans I have put forward are entirely realistic and practical. Most people who have served or are serving with the United Nations in the Congo would agree with me. I believe that the African point of view at the United Nations headquarters in New York has now some influence in that the Secretary General is making use of the advisory committee, but this is not enough. The African viewpoint should also be much more fully represented at the United Nations headquarters in Doppelville, in both the civil and the military spheres. The United Nations headquarters in Libreville is divided into several military sections. On the civil side, I would like to see many more experienced Africans in position of authority than it is at present the case. On the military side, my feelings are the same. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, action in the Congo is urgent. Up till now, the United Nations has failed in the Congo. It entered the Republic to restore law and order. Yet today, mutinous troops who roam the country committing atrocities, rapine, murder, and all forms of indiscriminate killings. There is virtual civil war. The United Nations entered the Congo with a specific mandate to preserve the unity of the Republic. Instead, under the very shadow of the United Nations, the Katanga province is being, in practice, detached from the rest of the state and converted into a new type of Belgian colony. The first task of the United Nations was to secure the withdrawal of Belgian forces. Instead, Belgium has been allowed to establish what amounts, in fact, to a military dictatorship in Katanga. Belgian military equipment is supplied to rebels and separate forces before the eyes of the United Nations forces, who are powerless to intervene. That Mobutu claimed to have deposed both President Kasavubu and the government of Patrice Lumumba, and to have deposed all government but his own. He had no possible claim to exercise any legal authority. Nevertheless, the United Nations authorities in Libreville collaborated with his so-called College of Commissioners, which he had set up, and thus gave the mutineers not only authority, but also a ready supply of cash from the resources of the Congo. This the rebels employed in furthering their mutiny and in attempting to consolidate their position in opposition both to the president and to the Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba. That such action
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
Salute him.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
Before sprouting into the glorious foliage that is visible to all. All the projects which would have benefited us in the future have been abandoned. Where does Ghana stand now? It means we stand on the verge of confusion and chaos. It's also sad that for Africa, the movement to liberate our oppressed brothers of Zimbabwe, Ghana, will be temporary. I speak to you and our drive for the voice of the African political unity slow down, Congo. Gentlemen, it is not the absence of this clique of army and police renegades has put us one step backward, but we shall take 2 steps forward. Stand firm and have confidence in the Convention People's Party, and victory will be them before, and we shall beat them again. Fellow countrymen,
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
Country recognizes this rebellious clique. The recognition or non-recognition of this traitorous clique is irrelevant to the situation. The struggle is a revolutionary struggle. Remember that the struggle of Ghana and Africa has only reached a new phase, a stage of rebirth, out of which shall emerge a greater consciousness of the African personality and dignity. We must evolve new forms of revolutionary struggle to meet the new African situation. Gentlemen, as I speak to you now, several ships that should have unloaded their cargoes of material and machinery meant for Ghana's industries and factories at Tema Harbor abroad to their home bases because of the actions of these traitorous rebels. They were not allowed to unload these cargoes at Tema. I shall be with you sooner than our detractors expect, and we shall again take up the reins of our industrial development. I have been told of the diabolical acts of brutality, assassination, and barbarism which these murderous army and police rebels have been perpetrating against the people of Ghana. The number of defenseless men and women who have been beaten up, murdered, and maimed is simply heartbreaking. Misled soldiers and police broke into people's homes, heartlessly machine-gunned their occupants, only to come out not only with dead bodies, but carrying refrigerators, wireless sets,
Sunrise on
boxes
3
and
FM, the
and other
best in the
personal
morning.
belongings of their victims. Mothers are murdered in their own homes. With appalling barbarism, their children are snatched from their lifeless embrace and flung from third and second floor windows to crash dead on concrete pavements below. Gentlemen, these are sad facts. These sad facts speak of hideous acts which one never thought could be perpetrated by any persons who call themselves Ghanaians. This lunatic fringe of the army and police, a relic of our colonial heritage, should not escape the blame and responsibility for these crimes. They will not go unpunished. Since the February 24th incident, crimes ranging from looting, maltreatment, torture, and massacre of defenseless citizens have become the order of the day in Accra and other regions of Ghana. This clique of rebels have suppressed all fundamental liberties which was ours under our constitution. They have forbidden the holding of meetings and rallies. People are not allowed to use their own wireless sets. Cabinet members, leading civil servants and public servants, responsible men in the Ghanaian society, able heads and directors of state corporations and state enterprises have all been thrown ignominiously into prison. The masses are tortured and humiliated. African freedom fighters in training at Accra and African political refugees have been shamelessly molested and heartlessly carted away at gunpoint to some bizarre fate at the hands of those from whom they sought to escape. These are sad facts facing Ghana now, and their perpetrators brazenly call themselves a National Liberation Council. What do these hirelings and murderers know about national liberation? Where were they when we were fighting to liberate the then Gold Coast from the clutches of the imperialist and colonialist exploiters? Countrymen, these villains were in the country at the time, but wherever and whenever they appeared, they traitorously backed the colonial oppressor with whom they have always had a common interest. Today, they clumsily lie that they are national liberators, and by force of arms, they stood to abolish the constitution established according to the will of the majority of the Ghanaian people. By force of arms, they seek to abolish the people's elected parliament. By force of arms, they seek to dissolve the people's chosen party, the Convention People's Party. Indeed, by force of arms, they seek to abolish or dissolve all forms of democracy in Ghana. What are their intentions? What are they after? They seek no more than their own selfish interests. Interests which are based on the systematic forceful suppression of the Ghanaian masses. Such is the evil content of this murderous rebellion. They have surrounded you not only with guns and bayonets, but also with lies and calumny in an attempt to throw dust into your eyes and blind you to the true evil content of their treachery. But I know They cannot deceive you with the lies they have fabricated against me and my government, such as the nonsensical talk about the breaking down of Ghana's economy and the nonsense about Nkrumah's property. It is common knowledge, and the army and the police, rebels, know this, that Nkrumah has no personal property, and that all that he has belongs to the party and the state. This clique of army and police traitors have brazenly challenged the constitutional authority of the state and are attempting to destroy our socialist gains and achievements. There are no grounds whatsoever for this murderous rebellion. And now that they know they have misfired, they seek to fabricate lies to justify their treachery and employ torture and intimidation to force and coerce loyal citizens into submission. They make false statements and publish false news about innocent and loyal citizens whom they hold at the points of guns and bayonets. Ministers and important members of the community have been illegally thrown into prison, and they have even established committees of inquiry to aid them in their fabrications. However, no account of lies and calumny can justify their groundless and murderous actions or absolve them from the punishments which they deserve. Workers, farmers and peasants of Ghana, militant men and women of the Convention People's Party, Ghana youth in the cities, towns and villages, this is your time to march into double action. We must crush this clique of army and police gangsters who have thrown such dangerous spanners not only into the spokes of the wheels of Ghana's progress and development, but also into those of the African Revolution. More than ever before, the struggle for African emancipation must be intensified. We must overthrow these adventurous and self-seekers with all the means at our command. I shall be with you very soon, and we shall together carry on the revolutionary struggle to its successful conclusion with new spirit and reborn energy. Do not despair. We are not alone in this revolutionary struggle against the enemies of progress and freedom. Hundreds of letters, telegrams, and cablegrams condemning the rebellion reach me daily from nationalists and freedom fighters all over Africa and from progressive forces and movements all over the world. I know how you are suffering humiliation and torture in silence now, but I know that all of you, men and women and youth, are inwardly resisting, and at the clarion call, which will soon be sounded, you will rise up to fight and conquer this notorious clique of army and police traitors. I know your courage and determination, and I have no doubt that you will join hands in this new struggle to throw out of Ghana these shameless traitors of the nation. Countrymen, as I have been telling you, do not be deterred or frightened by the rifles and Tommy guns which these traitors intimidate you with. They know they are powerless before your united strength. If we could fight and defeat colonialism, how much less is the task of defeating a clique of army and police racketeers who have not got the full support of the whole army and police. This clique is only a section of the army and police who are using Tommy guns and rifles to intimidate and coerce and suppress you. Even among the murderous traitors themselves, there is division. Already, the conflict between the army rebels and the police traitors is obvious
on 3 FM,
and deepens
the
more and
best
more
in the morning.
as they attempt to share the booty and bribery they have gathered from their treachery. But for disastrous consequence to our economy, we would patiently wait for these ignorant rebels to be consumed in the heat of their
their own follies. If we choose to allow them to exist for some time, they will soon crack up by their own inability, stupidity, and mismanagement. But love of country demands that we crush them quickly before they play too much havoc with our dear Ghana and create confusion within the African revolution. And so, countrymen, let all true Ghanaians remain firm and resistant. Let all loyal members of the army and police remain firm wherever they may be. I congratulate the Presidential Guard Regiment for their bold stand at Flagstaff House. Let them also stand firm. We will remember those who are dead. I know your patriotism, and I know that you will continue to fight for and safeguard the dignity, freedom, and honor which we owe to Ghana, Africa, and the world. Forward ever, backward never. There is victory for us. Long live the Convention People's Party. Long live the Organization of African Unity. Long live the African revolutionary struggle.
Words of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah via a broadcast in Guinea Conakry following that coup which removed him from office, amongst many other things. Many of such that we will get to hear of from him. That's Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on a day like this. But let me bring in Albert Tete. He's a spoken word artist who's joining us this morning as well. Albert, good morning to you. Trust that you're well.
I'm doing so well. Yourself?
We're basking in a day like this, crafted specially in the heavens for Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And right. I don't know what memories you have of him. Obviously, we came to hear of the stories about him, but what strikes you about him, even before I paved the way for you to deliver a speech for us this morning?
Basically, 2 days ago, I saw a post made by the Memorial Park, and it was a quote from him, and it was also funny in a way. So Professor Kobe Mensah made a quote of it on reposted it on X. Then I also commented on it, and he also reposted that. And it's just we actually wished that Nkrumah had lived a little longer, so we could also engage with him. Because you find things he said way back 50 years plus, which are still alive today and unfortunately not being implemented. And this is someone who didn't just talk but acted his talks. So it hurts for me anytime we try to remember him, anytime we try to think around the things he's spoken about, anytime we read about him, anytime we see excerpts of things he said. It really strikes us, and it's awe-inspiring that for so many years, someone way back saw ahead of time. And this is not from the West, but this is an African. This is a Ghanaian senior brother and father, grandfather to many others. So it's really inspiring, it's really touching, but it's rather unfortunate that the leaders of today do not respect the founder of the land. And of what use would we be if we do not give respect to our roots? This is one of our very important, is a taproot of this land. So for me, it's always a blessing to listen to videos and audios from Nkrumah, to read quotes, to read his books. It's inspiring always. And all I can say is that media houses should be encouraged to keep pushing the narrative, because the way to reprogram the people now is to make them listen to the conscious words of Osagyefo, as well as the conscious words of the critically thinking young ones of today.
Albert, we're 15 minutes to the top of the hour. What do you have for us this morning?
Okay, so it's been the same old stories. When we sit as young people, we keep saying, or we keep telling. Because way back, we had our forefathers sitting under the great baobab tree, the great Iroko tree, or whatsoever tree you want to name it. Do you have a name?
different names. It could be a mango tree, it could be a coconut tree.
So the southern of the great mango tree, sipping cold palm wine that says chills down their spine. They brooded over the many issues of the land without any preparation of making mind-blowing, without any inspiration of making mind-blowing preparation for us, the younger generation, even if they had no determination to cause changes in their time. And this really disturbs me as a young African, you know. Because even till date, our leaders keep making the ruling of this nation seem to us like a mystery. Because they keep repeating the negativities of history in all activities. And this really disturbs me as a young African. You know, despite all we've got, we still despise the despite of our land and travel to foreign lands to get deals done as though we never had any mark done in our own land. It really disturbs me once again as a young African. So I look forward to that very new Africa, Osagyefo said. But then, who said that the young African cannot actually invent something that can be of global significance? Who actually said that the young African cannot stand out and make a difference in the lives of people and the influence actually impacting many around the world? Who actually installed these negativities onto our mind that has actually downplayed our creativity and our innovative abilities? It really, really saddens my heart and it's terrifying because Osagyefo said that the freedom of this nation will be meaningless until it's connected to the total liberation of our African continent. Osagyefo again said. But before I press on, I want you all to know that how terrifying, how saddening it is that we find MPs traveling overseas for vacation, pretending they've not seen the kids in their community, sitting under trees for studies. We find these very same MPs who, or our leaders who are supposed to fix the road, actually buy cars to fit the road instead of fixing the road to accommodate all cars. We find ourselves in a country where they tell us that we need to check our cars to be roadworthy, yet our roads are not worthy. How terrifying, sickening, and saddening it is. And Nkrumah once again said that revolutions are brought about by men who think as men of action and act as men of thoughts. Osagyefo again added that we must unite now or perish. Osagyefo said that it is clear that we must find an African solution to our problems and that this could only be achieved through African unity. Divided, we are weak. United, Africa could become one of the greatest forces for good in this world. Why then are our leaders not paying heed to this wisdom of Osagyefo? The new Africa, the new Ghana has been written way before time, way before they came and took power and took the seat of governance. Why then won't we respect our roots? How then would we also get precious stems to bear the branches that will bear precious fruits that will last for long if we don't respect the roots that hold this very stem? So we have to go back, just as it's always been said, Sankofa. We go back to take the right things, the things that really matter to us, the things that reflects our true African identity. Because Thomas Sankara also said that it took the madmen of yesterday for us to be acting with so much clarity today, and he yearns to be one of those madmen. Unfortunately, he was short-circuited, cut along the line. So today we find young people, young men and women who are actually on fire. We need to support them with all that it needs to be supported with. And it's just like a creeping plant or a stem that is weak and you want it to stand. Every young, critically thinking citizen out there needs to be staked. And staking is actually giving the support. So we need the elderly ones to actually provide the staking now so that even the ones that are weak will grow and make sure that their voices are heard to cause that revolution. As Osagyefo said, that revolutions are brought about by men who think as men of action and act as men of thought. He said, action without thought is empty and thought without action is blind. I look forward to that very new Africa, Osagyefo said. On this day, may Osagyefo always be remembered. May his legacy live on and inspire many others around the world. This is your day, Osagyefo. And even it is your day extended, and always will remember you for the great and marvelous things you've done for the land. It's rather unfortunate that you left before your time, but you left a mark, and we will continue wherever you stopped. May Osagyefo's memory live long and inspire generations to come. We've come far and will definitely go far. Thank you.
This is the day
Well, still eulogizing Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We've been hearing messages in different forms as we prepare ourselves for the 3FM AfriConnect a lot later today. It's already starting, and we're looking forward to that. The entirety of the African continent coming together to celebrate African unity, fashion, food, music, arts, you call it what. There's going to be so much splendor and so much fun at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. It's just 100 cities. You should be making your way there. The Jollof Wars and all. But right now, my phone lines are going to be active pretty shortly. Even right now, talk to us about Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. How do you think you would have handled all of our problems today? 055-924-2717, 055-691-0154. Call in right now, 055-691-0154, 055-691-0154, or 055-924-2717, 055-924-2717. Those are the numbers by which you can reach us this morning. Talk to us about Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. What did he mean to you? If you're old enough to have seen or witnessed bits and pieces of him, fantastic. You share that story with us. And if you experience what he described as the dark days, then do well to do that for us as well. Let's start off with our very first caller. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Your name and where you're calling us from, please?
My name is Jordan Tugu, calling from Dansuma.
Jordan, I trust that you're well.
The least I can say about Nkrumah is that he has been the most wonderful thing to happen to Africa, because based on what plans that he has for us, it doesn't only go to be like Ghana's thing alone, but you have a whole agenda for Africa, transformation as a whole. So that is the least thing I can say about Nkrumah. And wherever he is, God should bless him more and more. Thank you.
Jordan, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Let's get on to the other phone lines right now. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please. Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm fine. I'm happy we are celebrating Nkrumah this morning.
You didn't give me your name,
Oh, Papa Bisu.
Papa Bisu. I trust that you're well this morning.
Well,
fantastic.
I'm happy that we are. Just that it pains me when, I remember what happened to Ghana, not only in Nkrumah, that's 66 school. February 24th February 66 school, Charlie. Very painful. We lost our pride. We lost our glory. We lost our way of life as a united country. Hey, Nkrumah. That's why I said Nkrumah never died. You see that we are discussing him. How many years now? This man, can I say he's a prophet even? Or he was?
Yeah, he was a prophet because he was predicting what is to happen in present day Ghana today.
This is that's why I hate the UP tradition so much. The Busia Dankwa, MPP, I hate them so much. I must be frank with you.
Hate is such a strong word, I mean.
That's why I'm using it. Charlie, you heard him saying about this 7-year development plan that they've just thrown it away. They did throw that thing away. See, just imagine at that time when it was putting that, what they call it, the Tema motorway, something. And they were saying that, how many people live in Tema? The UP tradition, the MPP, that we call them today, they were saying, well, how many people live in Tema? You see, foresightness, they don't have it. That's why I said, look, Charlie, do you know that at the time that Nkrumah was in power, he was trying to bring to what you call it, how should I establish this freedom. Are you aware? With the Russian government.
I mean, he put up the Akosombo Dam, and so the plan to develop this country, I mean, it's never been in doubt, Papa Bisu.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize why I hate the UP tradition so much. At that time, he's aware that, Burkina Faso, they are going to put up a dam. And when it happened, we will not be getting, the necessary water for our agricultural something.
Papa Bisu, round up for me so I can pick other calls, please.
Let me just run up. So he agreed with, the Burkina Faso president agreed with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah that, okay, let's put it up. And what happened? They overthrew him. And see what is happening now. Anytime Bagri Dam, because we didn't allow Nkrumah to continue that project.
And unfortunately,
anytime Burkina Faso,
they open their spillways, then we are in trouble. Papa Bisu, thank you very much for calling in as well. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please. Unfortunately, that line has dropped.
This Pastor Odewale.
Mr. Odewale, I trust that you're well.
Is that?
I hope you are well today.
Oh, by grace.
All right. Talk to us about Nkrumah and just one question. What do you think he would have done if he were president of Ghana today?
Thank you very much. Kwame Nkrumah is second to none. Let me even tell the immediate past former president, President Akufo-Addo, he was a CPP cap bearing member. When Nkrumah was overthrown, he was baffled. He ran out of the bathroom. Though he did not come out, he ran out of shock. In fact, he has played his part. He has laid a foundation. It was a successful government which did not do well. Most of them. As for Kotoka, he was just misused. Yes, it's true. Kotoka was just misused against his own conscience. I met two of his cousins who were part of the coup. They are no more. They told me Kotoka, they advised him, but Kotoka will not listen. And in fact, to me, we have gone too far. Look at Malaysia. Look at South Korea. You know South Korea came down to Ghana to learn how to build cars. I'm telling you today, my brother, you never believe it. Even Achampon, who is the working shadow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whose birthday will also fall tomorrow. If Achampon were to be alive, he would have been 94 years tomorrow. Achampon came in the like manner of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Look at the vision he had. Look at the motorway. But today we are only doing things for fantasy. We only do it for applaud, political applaud. We are not thinking of the future generation. I think so Galamsey will have not been an issue. Many have been here. So if I were the president of Ghana today, my brother, I will insist total local governance structure and discipline. That is all. I will not go for loan. I don't believe in loan. It is loan that we are servicing that is pulling us back. We can domesticate this country and we will make it better. Achampo never went for IMF loan. Neither Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Look at the legacies that they leave behind. Those who have gone for IMF. The very day Papa just started IMF, that was his downfall. Because they will dictate to you. They will rule you behind the scene and you become a political remote control. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Good morning. I even forget your name.
Mawuena. Just Mawuena.
Yeah, Mawuena. I'm Rainfall. I'm calling from Amasaman.
Rainfall, I hope the people of Amasaman are well.
By grace of God, we are fine.
That's good. Share your thoughts with us.
Yes. Anytime this Nkrumah holiday comes on, I feel very sad. But I was quite young when the 6th February coup took place, and we were told a lot of fables and lies about.
Oh, you experienced the early days of the coup as a young person.
Yes, I was a very young boy then, around 12, 14 years. So anytime I reflect over Nkrumah, what he has done when he was the president, I say, why are we not going back to take, especially that 7-year development plan he started? Look, his fingerprints are on this country. No matter what anybody do to erase it off, it cannot be done with. It cannot. Nobody can take it off. We better go back to take it. In fact, Nkrumah was a blessing God gave to the nation Ghana. And immediately we treated him that way. The country was given or left into what I call curse. We've been cursed. That is why we've been trying all the time to do things right. We are not getting right because the gift God gave us, we rejected it by ourselves and we treated him badly. And so let me alone. Let us go back to whatever he has started. Let us look through. In fact, when you listen to his speeches today, how do you feel? It's like he's speaking today. And no wonder people are saying he's a prophet. Yes, indeed, he's a prophet, or he was a prophet. So there is nothing we can do to erase Nkrumah from this nation. We better uphold him, go back to look at whatever he wanted to do for the country, and maybe take it up from there. Otherwise, we'll wallow in this kind of poverty forever. You see, it's a sad story to say, but that is the reality. That is the truth. Yes, Nkrumah was a gift God gave to this country, but we threw it away, thinking we are doing this country any good, just because of sheer jealousy and wickedness. It's so bad and sad. We better think twice and ask God to forgive us. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well for calling. And you can as well call in 055-924 2717 055-924-2717 055-691-0154. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is King Precious,
King Precious.
Yeah.
Is everything okay? You have to speak up for me, King Precious.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, talk to us. Share your thoughts as well on Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, as you know, he's put Ghana down. He come and unite all the region to form one to be Ghana. You see, he's a strong man, and we go to some. I discovered Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as Moses in the Bible. But only what he not taught Ghanaians we are not like from him is that we have to show the real law that we have to follow. That our justice, we will not joke with him. Our justice, Nkrumah put it down. Freedom and justice. We salute those things, our national anthem, our national pledge. But now see, 20 gods are in our country. It's a freedom of worshiping and all shocking, No freedom in the country again. Laws are not working because of plenty gods. Our country laws, they will not respect it. Somebody get like that. We have to ban all those things and take one God to create our country strong and salute them and take a go war, take fight and battle for it, I know we say we separate ourselves, so we unite that. We really have to get together. But now, plenty worshiping in our country, they are confusing the country, they're shocking, misunderstanding because of plenty goals. You see, so Nkrumah is a great man, my brother. So only if we let the law, freedom and justice. The justice must be weighed, Nobody has to offend justice in our country. If you offend justice, that means you want Ghana to be foolish, Ghana to be useless, You even if Jerry will come back, that we don't have Ghana no more because you offend justice. So
right.
People are calling us for them. They will be Jerry them. You don't know where Jerry them come from. As angel, Come and put Ghana down again. Now we start democracy. Now to let the laws work in the country for us.
Thank you.
For some years, we not work for us. For some years. Now another system is in the country. Country is dirty. No laws are working. My brother, let's make the laws of the country work so Ghana stand as a strong country in the West. Because we don't want, It's not a joke.
Thank you. Thank you very much, King Precious. Thank you as well for sharing your thoughts with us. King Precious with his thoughts. You can as well do same.
Papa Bisu back again.
Oh, Papa Bisu.
Yes, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
You were saying that the hate aspect that I put across was a strong something. I just want to show you the pain in me. You are not much about this Nkrumah's development. You see, somebody just said that Kotoka, Pastor Diwale, he made a point. Yes, Kotoka later agreed with his uncles that, yes, let's do it. So he called Afrifa. I entered the strong room and then noticed the 7-year development plan of Ghana. Afrifa, we've been deceived. Let's try and bring Nkrumah back. As soon as Afrifa said, okay, I agree, we'll bring Nkrumah back. He went and told Busia Dankwa people. No, you know what he said? So eliminate him. That's why Afrifa, what do you call it? Kotoka was murdered at the Kotoka airport there by these people.
And these are historical facts you're reading to us this morning, or these are conjectures?
Yes. You see, Kotoka called Afrifa. The Afrifa has entered the strong room. I've seen the 7-year development plan of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Let's go and bring him back. No, Afrifa went and told the Busia Dankwa people, Busia especially. Oh, they said just eliminate the man, and they plot that elimination of Kotoka. Look, I'm repeating. I hate the UP tradition. I'm telling you for a fact. Have a good morning, my brother.
Thank you again for calling. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Hello, this is Jordan Tugro from Dansuma. I'm calling again. I wanted to make a certain submission of what Papa Bisu just rightly said now concerning about that Kotoka and Nkrumah's issue.
Are you reading from a book?
Was about Kotoka was just used as the face of it, but the people behind was the Busia tradition. Then
are you reading
because
from a book?
If I were to recall very well, even I wasn't there at that time, but what I've read and what I've understand so far, Kotoka was just used as the face of it.
Right.
And that is my only submission I wanted to make. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much as well. We can as well call in. I mean, it's a day that was set aside to celebrate Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, even though a lot of you continue to call, and there's a lot of what they don't like about a certain tradition, but today is set aside for just one man, and that's Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. 055-924-2717. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from, please.
This is Dan. I have to call back because of the young man who talked about Afrifa and the Kotoka incident. You see, at one time, because of Nkrumah's foresight and vision uniting the African continent, to which the Europeans were exploitative, then our exports like cocoa and the others were, boycotted. And so we ran into hardship, and things at home became very, very difficult. And so the reason why people hate Kotoka at that time, we were only thinking about bread and butter, but not the political aspect of governance. And so it was easy for the Nkrumah to be overthrown. But the reason being that now that we have become aware of how Nkrumah was overthrown, now we are hailing him and regretted because of that incident. And so let's stay focused and talk about some of these projects and plans, like the Workers' Brigade, which brought about harvesting food from the various farms and making food very, very cheap for the people. We're talking about how we can go agrarian. And so that's why we must not take this Galamsey issue lightly.
Right.
To make sure that those who are misbehaving are dealt with, and then we restore back our land and water. It's good we can talk about the revolution and that at another time. It's unfortunate that we canceled the 31st December issue. It will have created time for us to discuss all the, people who were cheated, people who took advantage of revolution, using the military to recover their independence and all that. It's a very big thing your session should consider.
Right. And thank you as well for calling. You are our last caller for the morning, and we're going to switch it up just a little bit and talk tourism. We're joined on the line by the Minister for Tourism, and I'll get on to her right now. But just before I do that, big shouts to Afele. It's another listener of 3FM. You're listening right now with my colleague Grace Ajeman. I want to say we appreciate you as always doing the listening and for bringing us in a lot of more listeners, keeping your dial in your vehicle every day on 3FM 92.7. We say we appreciate you and we love you very much. Well, let's get on to the phone lines right now. Jifa Abla Gomashi she likes Abla Jifa Gomashi, is Minister for Tourism. Honorable, did I get it right this time?
Hey, you just saved yourself, Papa.
I said it first. I was like, no, I remember it's Abla Jifa Gomashi, just to be on the safe side.
Indeed. Or Jifa Gomashi is fine.
But I like the Abla.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your kind heart.
I love it. All right, I trust that you're well. Yes.
Our God has been faithful. I'm alive. Oh.
That's fantastic.
So good morning to you, your colleagues, and all of the people of Ghana who are listening to you, or wherever people are listening to you from. Greetings from Takrady.
For the celebrations from yesterday.
No, wrong. I mean
Nkrumah. That's still the Western region.
The Western region, yes. I'm spending 3 days here in the Western region.
As part of commemorating and celebrating our founder, I believe.
Absolutely, and also to have a conversation with the MDCEs and the regional minister on what the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts will expect them to do with us as a ministry to ensure that our ministry's work improves in the region, as I have done in the other regions I've gone to.
And we'll get into the work done in the other regions, but perhaps because we started off on the Nkrumah note, I want to just stay on that. I mean, the narrative is that we're not celebrating him enough. We could have an entire festival around this time. I know something was done in the Western region, but people are making having the argument about a more nationalistic feel to the celebration. Is there a plan like that? And would anybody be wrong if they say that we can do so much more with the name Kwame Nkrumah?
Well, did I thank you for this opportunity to speak with you?
Oh, Honorable, you're always welcome.
I haven't done that. Okay, so thanks a lot for this particular question. I will agree to a very large extent that we haven't done enough of the celebration of this giant of a man that God gave to this country. And perhaps he's not the only person who has not been celebrated enough. But since we are talking about the man, Kwame Nkrumah, the one on whose shoulders the independence of Ghana was declared, in fact, through his mouth, that happened. That in itself is worthy of celebration every day. And the fact that because of what he did, other African countries also had the courage to fight for independence. That, too, is a reason why we should celebrate him every day. The fact that this individual found at a very early age, in a very turbulent time, the importance and the need for us to have the African personality and not to shy away from it, but to celebrate the fact that God gave Africa to us, endowed it with so much, and the culture and the heritage sets us apart from the rest of the world. In doing that, this man sets up the Institute of African Studies amongst all the other institutions that he set up. And then the School of Performing Arts, just look at the way in which he thought. He thought industry, he thought literature, he wrote books himself, he saw the need for us to develop our culture and build our country on that. He was way ahead of his peers. And indeed, we have not celebrated him enough. But hope is not lost. Under President Rawlings, we brought him back to give him that beautiful monument at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, as we call it today. Thankfully, the World Bank and the world, recognizing his importance, also gave us some money to renovate the facility under the previous regime. Africa also named him the man of the millennium, didn't they?
Yes.
Amongst all the others. And thankfully, by the divine grace of God, we have a president now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who recognizes that he cannot continue without going back, without going back to where Kwame Nkrumah left us, and restoring the 21st of September, as African Union itself also did years ago, that we bring it back and celebrate this man. We, as the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, have been charged to yearly celebrate the journey to Nkrumah. And as fate to have it again, we have an amazing colleague and comrade, Honorable Amakofi Bua, who is Member of Parliament for the area, and himself an Nkrumahist, pulling together his men, and they started this celebration they call Nkrumah Fest. So we, as the Ministry of Tourism, are working with Honorable Amakofi Bua and his kinsmen and doing the journey to Nkrumah. So this is the first journey to Nkrumah, as President Mahama promised last year in this community. And I'm hoping that we will all wake up to the reality that it takes a village to raise a child. But indeed, one woman birthed that child. So Kwame Nkrumah has birthed Ghana. Let's just rally around the name. Because if you go everywhere around the world, if you say you are from Ghana, if they don't mention Kwame Nkrumah, they mention a football star from this country. We need to rally around these names because there are strong ways on which we can do a lot more for Pan-Africanism, for sports tourism, and what have you. So yes, we have not celebrated him enough, but we are on the right track now.
And just by way of that, should we be taking a step of some sort, patent his name and a lot of the things attributable to him? Some say we can begin to generate some revenue from him by so doing. Is that up for consideration as well?
Absolutely. His daughter, my dear sister Samia Nkrumah, was here, and she and I spoke a bit about the kinds of things that can be done and should be done. We have agreed to continue the conversation when I return to Accra. She's going to make time and swing by the office sometime. And she's planning also to have a foundation. Right. So these are conversations we should have with her and her family, and of course, the MP for the area. And the regional minister who also was there with us yesterday. And hopefully we'll come to... we'll be able to give clear guidance or information on what we are going to do going forward, apart from the journey to Nkrumah. So I'm glad that you asked the question. I'll keep you in the loop, and you can share the details with your viewers and listeners as Media General going forward.
Right. Honorable, let's switch to the tourism conversation proper, because you mentioned you're at Nkrumah, the journey to Nkrumah, and you've been interacting with the MMDCs there. You've done so in other regions as well. What's the plan to make domestic tourism peak again for us here in Ghana, and then as well seeing a lot more persons come through from other parts of the world?
Thank you. So we are over 30 million people in this country, and if even 10 million out of the lot communities, and there's reason why people should move around, except that we don't know them, and those we know, we are probably tired of seeing the same thing. So we are looking at repackaging some of the old things and giving opportunity to MMDCs to allow people to add new things that we can package and help them promote in the various districts and municipalities. So it's the reason why, as a ministry, we are engaging regional ministers and their MDCEs. That I always trip over that pronunciation. That
MMDCs.
There you go.
MMDCs, yes. Actually.
So we are having a conversation with them so they see the potential that they have. Many people think that the ministry is the one that's going to develop the tourist places in all the regions. Listen, truth is, I wish I could, but we don't have that kind of budget. But thankfully, once again, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, recognizing that the development must start in the communities, has given them 80% of their DCAF, right? So we are asking them to look within their various communities and see which of the products we have and have the low-hanging fruits. We will help them because we have the experts. We will help them package it properly, and then we can start promoting it. Look, yesterday when we went to the evening event at the grounds where we had the deba on Saturday, we just walked back into our rooms. It was unbelievable. When we worked together, the MP, the regional minister, the MMDCs, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, and its agencies. My God, have you seen the pictures?
I caught glimpses of a few of them. I've not been able to.
Mawuena, I kid you not. I've never seen that before. That crowd was so thick, and it took a long time for us to be able to get to the park and exit the park.
Mm.
It means that once all the MMDCs and the regional ministers understand that you have a product, if they come together with us, we can market it. You saw how both the originators of the Nkrumah Fest and my team that were leading with the journey to Nkrumah were on your airwaves and others talking about it. The impact yesterday, the day before and yesterday blew my mind. So it is for this reason that on my regional tours, I'm not just going to my officers in the various regions, but engaging the regional ministers so that together we can make Ghana more attractive than it is for Ghanaians first. And then, of course, naturally, the ripple effect will be that the rest of the world will want to come. You know, we didn't deliberately decide that we were going to celebrate jollof rice, did we?
No.
But because we love it and we serve it everywhere, now everybody goes anywhere. They want to try jollof rice. And then, of course, our big brother, Nigeria, who's been trying to pretend that their jollof is better than ours, but they know the truth.
As for that, they do.
How I dropped my voice?
They do know we are better. We're better cooks than they are.
They know we are. See how that sisterly, brotherly rivalry has also taken it to another level. So my point is, when we celebrate what we have and who we are more, that's what people will see. But if we keep it on the back burner, nobody's going to know about it. So we need to celebrate more of ourselves, and then the world will want to come and see it. Because really, the tangible heritage, like the forts and castles and what have you, if you've gone to the forts and castles 3-4 times, I must find another reason why you should want to come a fifth time. Until I've done that, it will be difficult to market. So to repeat visits, there should be something exciting every now and again. But if we don't have the resource now to do that, we can use the intangible cultural heritage as a platform to promote tourism in our various communities. Because the topography is different, our cultural practices are different, and by culture I'm talking the whole value chain, right? Dance, music, food, fashion, what have you. It's different in every community. We must package them well, and we must celebrate them so the world can appreciate it with us.
And on having persons be able to revisit, what's the conversation like? Because you've mentioned a number of tourist sites, for instance, the castles. If I've been there 2 or 3 times, then I don't have a reason to want to visit again. Is there deliberate, I don't want to say policy, but for the locals who are expected to market this, what sort of training are they receiving to begin to open the eyes of their imagination to see that we can do it through this way, and say, this time when you're coming, we're not just taking you through the dungeons, but perhaps we're trying to act it all for you to see again what it was like, amongst many other things. The creatives that need to come on board for us to reimagine and want to visit again.
So we're not doing this in isolation. We're doing it to include new media and technology. So, for example, in Nkrumah Memorial Park, we're looking at having a virtual experience as well. And look, in many countries, when you've gone to the tourist site, by the time you exit, there are all kinds of souvenirs that you should be able to buy. These can be done locally, and people who have been there 1, 2, 3 times and didn't have anything to leave with except the experience, but nothing that they can hold or put on the shelf or on their office desk, signifying that I've been here, and using that also as a promotional tool. And in addition to that, I'm also testing how our hotels can come on board with the creative sector. So we are doing a pilot with the Accra City Hotel, where they have now a group that performs in the facility for their guests. You see, so it's all the other things that we haven't done that we want to now add to the old experiences, making linkages and bridges that gives a total immersion of our culture, not just the seeing and the viewing, but also an experience, so to speak. In many of our tourist sites as they are now, we don't even have a place where you could sit and eat and have a drink.
Exactly.
It can be Bisap, it can be Aliha, it can be Dakwa, it can be Joe. There's nothing that links the tangible and intangible cultural heritage experience. And those are the kinds of things we're looking at. But you see, we cannot do it by ourselves. And so let me use your platform to encourage business people and those who have money and don't know exactly what to invest in, approach the ministry or the agencies under the ministry. For example, Ghana Tourism Authority, Ghana Tourism Development Company, that has a fantastic executive director, Professor Kobi Mensah, who knows marketing like he breathes air. Approach these agencies, and we will assist you to invest in the sites that we have. When you go to any of our sites, you don't leave with anything that is beyond what you have gone and experienced. So the locals, the creatives, the business people, we are asking all of you to join us to make this work. This is our development can really take a giant step from where we are and move forward if we work together, those with money and those with ideas.
Right. I just have perhaps 2 more questions, and then we can look forward to calling the wrap. If, say, someone is interested, an African wants to come to Ghana for tourism purpose, is there a hot spot, a one-stop destination where I can go online and find all of our tourist attraction sites and what makes them unique and why I should visit the place?
There's really a very poor reflection of that. And it's part of the engagement that I'm having with my agencies to change that narrative. When you Google what we have already, some of the sites that even pop up have names that the agency should have, owned or directed by individuals. So we are in conversation with the Minister for Communication to assist us to clean some of these up. We have succeeded with a couple. We are looking forward to do more of that. The idea is to have many more new products discovered, which is why we said we did the competition on take a picture and send to the ministry. We awarded some people some prizes recently at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park for us to be able to have a more comprehensive site that you can go to. But in the meantime, there's the marketplace that was launched by Professor Kobe Mensah, who I just mentioned, whose background is really marketing. And he's helping us to pull these together. Right. There's a marketplace that you can go to, tourism marketplace in Ghana. But beyond that, we are also engaging the influencers, they call them, these young people, brilliant and creative young people who are doing fantastic and have such huge following. We have started conversations with them to use their platforms to be able to promote more of our thing. But in promoting it, it should be easy we should look at ways in which we can make it easy for people to come to Ghana or out of Ghana to the neighboring communities. And that's a very sad area that I've been talking with my brother, my younger brother, Honorable Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa, about that. It's tiresome implementing the AU convention that says there should be free movement of goods and people. The goods are not moving freely. The human beings are not moving freely. I'm an MP for a border community, and I can tell you my personal experiences on how frustrating it is, even for me as Member of Parliament, to just walk across 2 steps to enter Togo. And I'm sure they will say the same of coming into our country. So there really has to be a bigger and broader platform to have this conversation of making this agreements that we have signed between ourselves as Africans really take a life. Right now, it's just information on paper. It is the most difficult thing traveling in Africa, apart from the connectivity issues, which is transportation. Sometimes if you're going to an African country, you have to go outside the continent and hop back into the continent. It's expensive. How can you promote tourism in an environment like this? And even when you're walking across, if you don't pay a certain something small to some officer at the border,
then you're in trouble.
You cannot go. Or you cannot come. So these conversations are what I'm focusing my energy on, to make it easier for the soft part of promotion of tourism to take its rightful place.
Right, Honorable, I'm looking forward to seeing a Visit Ghana commercial as well on different platforms, so that it will as well entice a lot more persons. Say a Visit Ghana with a number of our tourist destinations in a nice video format, like Rwanda is doing, like other African or even the Middle East, Dubai and the likes.
You are in the spirit with us. As I said, we're taking pictures and products from different places in addition to what we already have, to spice it up a little bit. Right. So very soon you'll be seeing that.
Fantastic. I'll have to leave the conversation here because you're engaged in other things, but I appreciate you joining us as always, Honorable.
The pleasure is absolutely mine, and thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. And let me remind you that on the 27th of September is World Tourism Day. On the 26th, we are going to make a tour of the coastal communities in the Volta region. There are some mangroves there, there are Avu Lagoon, there are some, there's a museum there also for slavery, the regional slave market. We're going to do a tour on the 26th, and then on the 27th itself, the day of the World Tourism Day, we're celebrating it in Agbozuma. We're joining the people of Suma to celebrate 2025 World Tourism Day. I want to urge you and all your listeners and viewers to join us to make this a memorable occasion. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
As always, thank you as well. That's the Honorable Ablaji Fagumashi. She's the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, joining us this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise, and almost drawing the curtains on today's edition of the show, but we do that right after these spots of commercials.
FM. Sunrise on 3FM. The best in the morning. The best in the morning is on 92.7. Sunrise on 3FM.
Africa joins to celebrate. Music, fashion, food and art. Come together, play your part. One Africa, one big stage. Feel the fire, it's a brand new way. Star 725, star 2226 hash. AfroConnect, come on.
And that's where we're expected to be at, the 3FM AfroConnect, happening at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. That's where the entire team is headed this morning. Do well to be there. It's just 100 CDs. Just 100 CDs. Come witness the entirety of the African continent come together. From food, music, you call it what? What I look forward to the most is the legendary Jollof War Join us at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park right now and be a part of the celebration of African unity on a day where we celebrate a man known very well for African unity as well, Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That's how we draw the curtains on today's edition of 3FM Sunrise here on 3FM 92.7. Many thanks as well, as always. Helen Appiah-Ampofo, Sixtus, Ullo, Frederick Kunzo Tiani, technical team. Noel Crosby-Annan brought us the 6 a.m. news. We're back again tomorrow with another exciting edition. Do well, be safe, and thank you very much for listening.